Come with me to the Prince Charles Cinema in London to watch the entire Matt Johnson feature film collection. Matt Johnson is a Canadian director and actor who's having a killer year, not only just because Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie has already become a cult classic, but also because his Anthony Bourdain biopic that he's done with A24, Tony, is about to release this month. So to celebrate, the Prince Charles Cinema in London has put on the world's very first Matt Johnson movie marathon, showing all 4 of his films in one day. Me and my friends are so obsessed with Nirvana the Band and all things Matt Johnson, so we of course dressed up for this. When he's not wearing that insane fedora and working on Nirvana the Band, Matt actually loves to rock a sweatband, so in true Matt Johnson fashion, I did the same. It was time to watch our first film of the marathon, which was The Dirties. I was actually quite nervous to watch this one first, as The Dirties deals with the heaviest subject matter across all of the 4 films. However, I found myself enjoying the film way more this time round versus my first time watching. The first half was a lot funnier than I remember, and I think the way it naturally starts to take a dark turn is just executed so well. And it's the only film about this particular subject matter that I could ever watch more than once. And similar to Nirvana the Band, Matt Johnson did film The Dirties by interacting with real people, as well as friends and actors who are also in the movie. So I really want to listen to the commentary tracks and see how they managed to pull this one off. I think watching The Dirties in a cinema environment surrounded by friends versus watching it on your own in your room is definitely a better way to watch it. Again, as it's such a heavy subject matter, I just felt like watching it with people made me feel less anxious and less isolated. And it also helps that I kind of knew where the plot was going this time. Yeah, despite my sensitivity to the subject matter, I still think this film is fantastic, and it's a 4 out of 5 on my letterboxd. Up next was Operation Avalanche. Nope, not that one, this one. I think I can say that Operation Avalanche is the most underappreciated out of Matt's movies. It tells the story of 2 CIA agents who pose as a documentary film crew at NASA and find a way to fake the moon landing in order to beat the Soviets. But like The Dirties, it starts off light and then it gets darker and darker as the film goes on. And it has one of the most thrilling car chases I've ever seen. And I'm pretty sure Matt Johnson snuck into NASA to actually be able to film there. Same with Shepperton Studios, and police actually thought they were trying to leak the Avengers, so they got in trouble. Plus, the way they were able to integrate the footage with actual 1960s archive footage and make it look seamless is just fantastic. So I give it 3.5 out of 5. Up next was Blackberry. My friend Teo had been dressing up as each Matt character, but he just looked so good as Doug. And the character Doug is basically just Matt's normal clothes but with glasses. We also saw people who were just at the marathon specifically for Blackberry, and they dressed up as Mike and a Blackberry, as well as Doug, which was just so funny. Those who don't know Matt Johnson from Nirvana the Band will most likely know Matt Johnson because of Blackberry. It takes what could have been a very formulaic biopic about a tech brand into something with some style and pizzazz. And I feel very nostalgic because my dad had the Blackberry Bold, so I feel like connected to this film in some ways. Plus, it has great performances from Jay Baruchel, of course, Matt Johnson, and Glenn Howerton. I mean, we all know this bit.
I'm from Waterloo, where the vampires hang out!
Despite the anomaly of Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie, this, I'd say, is the turning point where Matt Johnson's films start to appear more polished. However, even though they appear less amateur, they don't lose any of that charm. Then we made it to film 4, Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you guys know how much I love this movie. I'm so grateful that I've been able to watch this film in cinemas, and I'm so grateful that I actually got to interview Jay McCarroll about Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie. Please check that out on my socials. It's hilarious. How they get away with some of the stunts they pull off is just insanity. And it's a beautiful story about friendship that was 20 years in the making. Still 5 out of 5 for me, and I think it always will be. And there we go, that was all 4 films. We reached the end. Or so we thought, as Prince Charles Cinema had a little trick up their sleeve. As we sat down to watch Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie, they told us to stay seated as cool things happen at the PCC. They gave us the UK's first preview screening of Tony. This was actually something I predicted when the Prince Charles Cinema announced this whole Matt Johnson feature film collection, and I'm very happy to confirm that I am indeed a prophet. Obviously the film's not out yet, so I can't say much about it, except I really enjoyed it. And Matt Johnson has spoken about that Tony is surprisingly, arguably, his most personal film, as even though this is a biopic about Anthony Bourdain and Dominic Sessa does an incredible job showing this small snippet into Anthony Bourdain's life, we're also seeing a snippet of a young Matt Johnson's life as well. And especially when you've watched all 4 of his previous films, you can see Matt Johnson embedded into this, whether through his filmmaking or just through the character of Tony himself. All of Matt's films combat arrested development and hiding behind a mask, always performing. Whether it's yourself and your childhood best friend who just can't seem to grow up, or struggling to move on and your best friend leaves you behind for a girl or for fame, or get left behind because you refuse to update your technology to catch up with the iPhone. Or you have to lie because you can't let anyone see the real you, and lying is just second nature now. It's almost done for sport. Matt Johnson's filmography is a wild ride, but the films are all in conversation with each other, and I can't recommend doing this binge enough. But definitely wait for Tony to come out and then do the binge. Thank you to the Prince Charles Cinema for organising this marathon. Thank you so much to the cinema, Matt Johnson and A24 for letting us see Tony early, and thank you Matt Johnson for recording a special intro for us for Tony. That was awesome. Thank you so much to Jared Rabb, Jay McCarroll, Curtis, Luca. The whole Zapruder team is just amazing, and we can't wait for more films. The marathon ended at 1 a.m, but it was so worth it.